The alarm rings. It is the first sound you hear in the darkness of your room. That sound is not just a noise. It is a question. It asks you, who are you going to be today? In that split second, you are faced with the first battle of the day. It is a battle between two ancient forces. One is the pull of comfort, the desire to stay warm, to remain unconscious, to hide from the world a little longer. The other is the call of potential, the duty to rise, to step into the light, and to exist. Most people lose this battle. They hit snooze. They bargain with reality. They tell themselves, just 5 more minutes. They start their day with a small defeat, and those small defeats accumulate. They pile up, one after another, until a life of potential becomes a life of regret. But you are here because you are seeking a different path. You are seeking the path of the Stoics. Let us travel back nearly 2,000 years. The year is 170 AD. We are on the northern frontiers of the Roman Empire, near the Danube River. It is winter. The air is freezing. The ground is hard. Inside a military tent, a man lies awake. He is old. He is sick. He is exhausted from years of war against the Germanic tribes. This man is Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth. He could have anything he wanted. He could sleep until noon. He could have servants dress him. He could indulge in every luxury known to the ancient world. But he didn't. Instead, he struggled to get out of bed. Just like you. We know this because he wrote about it in his personal journals, which we now know as the Meditations. He documented this internal war. He had to convince himself, using logic and philosophy, to throw off the blankets and place his feet on the cold ground. If the Emperor of Rome had to fight to get out of bed, do not think you are weak because you struggle, but do realize that the victory lies in the rising. In this video, we are not just going to give you a list of habits. We are not going to tell you to drink lemon water or do a skincare routine. We are going to deconstruct the philosophy of the morning. We are going to build a fortress in your mind. We will combine the timeless wisdom of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius with modern psychology to create the ultimate protocol for the day. This is not a routine. This is a ritual of power. This is how you win the morning. And if you win the morning, you win your life. The first step of the Stoic morning happens the moment consciousness returns to your body. It is the realization that you are alive. Seneca, the great Stoic statesman, once said, "We are dying every day." What did he mean? He meant that the time you have just lived is gone. It belongs to death. The time you spent sleeping belongs to death. The only time you truly possess is the present moment. When you wake up, you're given a gift that was denied to thousands of people who went to sleep last night and did not wake up this morning. To waste this gift by lying in bed, scrolling through social media, or dreading the day is an insult to nature itself. Marcus Aurelius had a specific argument he used against himself when he wanted to stay in bed. In Book 5 of Meditations, he writes a dialogue, an argument between his higher self and his lower self. He asks himself, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? Then, the voice of his lower self answers, but it's nicer here. And Marcus replies with brutal logic. So you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being. Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? This is the core of the Stoic awakening. It is the understanding that you have a function. Look at nature. The sun does not hesitate to rise. The tree does not hesitate to grow. The bee does not complain that the flower is too far away. They simply act in accordance with their nature. But humans, we are unique. We have the capacity to refuse our nature. We have the capacity to choose laziness. The Stoics called this acting against the logos, the rational order of the universe. When you linger in bed, engaging in cheap pleasures or avoiding your duties, you're isolating yourself from the rhythm of the universe. You are becoming a tumor on the world, taking resources but giving nothing back. So, how do we apply this in the modern world? We live in an age of comfort. We have temperature-controlled rooms, memory foam mattresses, and blackout curtains. The resistance to leaving the bed is stronger than ever. The Stoic protocol for waking up is simple but ruthless. It requires you to treat the alarm not as a suggestion, but as a command from your higher self. Do not negotiate with your mind. The mind is a lawyer. It will always find a loophole. It will tell you, you're tired. You worked hard yesterday. Just 10 minutes more. Do not listen. The moment you hear that voice, you must cut it off with action. There is a modern psychological trick that aligns perfectly with Stoicism. It is called the 5-second rule. When you wake up, count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And physically move. Throw the covers off. Stand up. By doing this, you interrupt the emotional part of your brain that seeks comfort, and you engage the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and decision-making. Once you are on your feet, you have won the first victory. You have proven to yourself that you are in control. You are not a slave to your bodily sensations. You are the master of your mind. And here is a crucial detail. Do not check your phone. Marcus Aurelius did not wake up and immediately ask for the gossip of Rome. He did not ask what the Senate was arguing about. He guarded his morning attention fiercely. When you check your phone first thing in the morning, you're letting the world invade your sanctuary. You're letting the anxieties of the news, the envy of social media, and the demands of emails dictate your emotional state. You are reacting, not acting. The Stoic wakes up and claims the first hour for themselves. Silence, stillness, focus. The world can wait. Your mind needs to be sharpened before it can be used. Once you are awake and standing, proceed to the bathroom. Splash cold water on your face. Look into the mirror. Here lies the second step of the Stoic morning. It is a concept that the modern world tries desperately to hide from. Yet it is the source of true aliveness. Memento Mori. Remember that you must die. In our modern culture, we sanitize death. We hide it in hospitals and funeral homes. We live as if we have an infinite contract with time. We say, I will do it tomorrow. I will forgive him next week. I will start living when I retire. The Stoic knows that tomorrow is a concept, not a promise. Look at your reflection. The eyes you see will one day close forever. The heart beating in your chest has a limited number of beats assigned to it, and that number is counting down right now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not meant to be morbid. It is not meant to make you depressed. On the contrary, it is the ultimate clarifier. When you truly understand that today might be your last, the nonsense fades away. Do you really have time to be angry at a stranger on the internet? Do you really have time to worry about what your neighbor thinks of your car? Do you have time to hold a grudge against your father? Death strips away the ego. It strips away the fear of failure. When you practice Memento Mori in the morning, you inject urgency into your veins. You decide to hug your partner a little tighter. You decide to work with focus, not because you have to, but because you still can. Tell yourself in the mirror, "I am mortal. My time is scarce. I will not waste this day on petty things." Now that your mind is awake and your perspective is reset, you must sit. You need a quiet place, a desk, a table, a corner. You need a pen and paper. The third step is journaling. But let us be clear. Stoic journaling is not about writing, "Dear Diary, today I feel sad." It is not about wallowing in emotions. It is about analyzing them. It is a strategic meeting with yourself. The meditations of Marcus Aurelius were exactly this. He was the most powerful man in the world, yet he had no one to talk to who would tell him the truth. Everyone wanted something from him, so he talked to himself. He coached himself. There are 3 specific things you should write down every morning. 1. The review of principles. Remind yourself of who you want to be. Write it down. Today, I will be patient. Today, I will not let external events control my internal peace. Today, I will speak the truth. By writing it, you're programming your subconscious. You're setting the code for the day. 2. The gratitude of reality. Write down 3 things you are grateful for. But do not just write, "I am grateful for my family." Go deeper. Be specific. I am grateful that my lungs can breathe this cold air. I am grateful that I have a challenge to solve today because it makes me stronger. Stoic gratitude is not just about the good things. It is about loving fate, amor fati. Even the difficulties are gifts, if you see them correctly. 3. The question. Ask yourself one hard question. What am I avoiding? Where am I being cowardly? If I repeated today's actions for the next 10 years, where would I end up? The journal is the mirror of the soul. It cannot lie to you. Before you close your journal, there is one final, critical mental exercise, the most distinctly Stoic practice of all, Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Modern self-help tells you to visualize success. It tells you to imagine everything going perfectly. The Stoics say this is dangerous. If you only visualize success, you are fragile. When reality hits you with a problem, you shatter. Instead, the Stoic prepares for the storm. Close your eyes for a moment. Visualize your day ahead. Now, imagine what could go wrong. Imagine the traffic is terrible and you are late. Imagine you spill coffee on your shirt before the meeting. Imagine your boss criticizes your work unfairly. Imagine someone you trust betrays you. Visualizing this does not make it happen. It robs it of its power. Seneca said, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." By seeing the betrayal in your mind, you can prepare your response. You can say to yourself, "If this happens, I will not get angry. I will remain calm. I will see it as a test of my character." You are putting on your armor. You are rehearsing the battle before it begins. So when the chaos actually happens, while everyone else is panicking, you smile. You think, "I have been here before. I expected this. I am ready." Chapter 5. Voluntary Discomfort. Forging the body. Your mind is now a fortress, but what of the body? The Stoics believe that the body must be a servant to the mind, not the master. But in our modern world of comfort, the body has become soft. We panic if the AC is too cold. We panic if we are hungry for an hour. To reclaim your power, you must practice voluntary discomfort. You must introduce a small dose of hardship into your morning. For many, this is the cold shower. It is a simple act, yet it is profound. Standing before the cold water, your primitive brain screams no. It begs for warmth. It begs for safety. When you turn that handle and step into the freezing stream, you are overriding your biology. You are training the muscle of discipline. You are telling your body, "I do not care what you feel. We are doing this." Or perhaps it is a hard run, or lifting heavy weights, or fasting, skipping breakfast to feel the sharpness of hunger. Musonius Rufus, the teacher of Epictetus, said, "We must train both the soul and the body." By voluntarily choosing to suffer a little in the morning, the involuntary suffering of the world hurts you less. You become harder to kill. You become harder to break. You are dressed. You are ready. You are about to open the door and step out into the world. Pause for 10 seconds. There is one last perspective shift. It is called the view from above. In your mind's eye, zoom out. See yourself standing in your room. Now, zoom out to see your house, your neighborhood. See your city, with millions of people waking up, rushing, fighting, loving, dying. Zoom out further. See the country, the continent. See the earth, a tiny, fragile blue marble floating in the endless, silent darkness of space. From this distance, look at your problems. That email you are worried about, it is invisible. That person who insulted you, they are a speck of dust on a speck of dust. Your anxieties, your ego, your reputation, they all vanish in the vastness of the cosmos. This is not to say you don't matter. It is to say your worries don't matter. You're part of this great, infinite whole. The same atoms that make up the stars make up your hand. You're connected to the Logos. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. You're just a traveler for a brief moment in time. Enjoy the journey. Do your duty and let the rest go. Your morning routine is complete. You have not just woken up. You have prepared for war. You have conquered the desire for comfort. You have looked death in the face and chosen to live. You have strategized your character. You have armored your mind against misfortune. You have hardened your body against weakness. And you have aligned your soul with the universe. Now, you step into the arena. The world will try to distract you. It will try to anger you. It will try to break you. Let it try. You are no longer a leaf blowing in the wind. You are a rock. You are a stoic. Remember the words of the emperor as you go. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Go and make this day a masterpiece. If you are ready to walk this path, do not just watch. Act. Comment, "I am ready" below. To seal your commitment, subscribe to Stoic Focus for your daily armor. We will see you in the next video.